Welcome to Boomer Life on AM 650. I'm Simone Graywall. Boomer Life is a celebration of the baby boomer lifestyle. On Boomer Life today, we're celebrating the lifestyle of retirement living with Revera Retirement Living. And in studio with us today from Revera is Lydia Miller, the Regional Director of Sales in BC, and Rob Gillis, the Executive Director of Revera's Fleetwood Villa. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Simone. Nice to be back.
And first, let's start off by getting to know a little more about you, Lydia. What's your background?
Well, let's see. I was born in Victoria. No, just kidding. We started out with a hospitality background and decided to venture out into training. Started my own company, got my training degree, got called by a recruiter. Hi, do you want to transfer your skills from hotels to retirement living? And I said, huh? Like, what's that? And I got a quick education. It sounded very fascinating, very intriguing. All my skills were transferable. And I tell you, this is a lot tougher. I've worked for Hilton. I opened the Hilton in Burnaby. I've worked for chains, like Coast Hotels and Sheraton. And it's like, oh my God, this is such a much more rewarding feeling. Because that's why I left hotels in the first place and started training more. And here I get to do more training and working with people and helping families.
And what about you, Rob? How long have you been with Fleetwood Villa?
I've been at Fleetwood Villa now for just over a year. And before that, I've been with Revera for about 2 years now. My background, very similar to Lydia's, is I was managing hotels mostly in the Richmond marketplace here for a dozen years, and received the phone call saying, Rob, would you be interested in changing careers? And I'll agree with Lydia that retirement living can be a bit more of a challenge from a management perspective, but my goodness, it is so much more rewarding than hospitality. Every day I leave the office, and I'm just so thankful that I'm in retirement living.
Both of you said it's rewarding for you. So tell me more about Revera. What is it all about?
Oh, goodness. Well, for starters, it's about doing the right thing. It's about working with families, working with seniors. One of our programs is Age is More that we've started, and we've been in the business for over 50 years, although you wouldn't know it because we've always kept a fairly low profile with not a lot of advertising and such. So for us to be on Boomer Talk Radio, it's like a first. And back east, they're kind of applauding this initiative. And one of the things that they are is leaders in the community. They strive for the best. One of our pillars, the 4 pillars actually, it's an acronym, RICE, and it's all about respect, integrity, compassion, and excellence. So it's respect for everyone, young, old, staff, seniors, people, anybody you meet. And the integrity is knowing that you're always going to do the right thing, right by the family, even if it means we don't rent a suite. We know we've done the right thing. The compassion is because we work with families, because we hear a lot of special situations. They can be pretty intense, and some of the family dynamics are sometimes very heart-wrenching because we're people too. And when you think about our business, we help people for a lifetime. In hotels, you help them for a day, you help them for a night, you plan a meeting for a week, and they're gone, right? So you make them happy for what? Maybe a week at a time. Here, we make them happy for the rest of their lives.
And you're able to have more of a connection with everyone in that place, which must be part of the reason it's rewarding.
Absolutely. And then, of course, the E is for excellence. Always doing your best and giving 110%.
So how many locations is there for Revera?
Ooh, I know that one. Revera Retirement, actually, across Canada, we've got 85 buildings plus a group of 10 in Oregon. And it's about independent living, and I know there's always been some confusion about the definitions of independent, assisted, and complex care. But for the most part, half of my buildings are independent. So where others say doing the housework, doing the cooking, et cetera, that's assisted. We call that freeing you from chores of life and providing you with an independent lifestyle.
That's a good way to look at it.
It is. In BC, I've got 9. Sorry, Simone. I've got 9 communities I look after. And then across Canada, are sprinkled the rest, usually anywhere from 8 to 14 sites in any given area, with Ontario having the most.
So it's a brand that people are familiar with. It's been around for a while. If you're a baby boomer and you're thinking about this, now it's time for mom and dad to move. Why choose Revera for retirement living?
Well, from a corporate perspective, and Rob, you can talk to the on-site level, we've got employees that have been with us for over 20 years.
Wow.
We've got licensed practitioners. We've got RNs. We've got people who have been with us not just from the resident side, but the staff side for over 20 years. Some residents are over 100 years old, and they moved in their 80s.
Absolutely. And to further that comment, Lydia, once you're in contact with Revera and you have a loved one in one of our communities, you're no longer alone. Should that resident have to move on to another community, even if it's not a Revera community, or there are any complications, we're there to assist the families. We're there to help the families. You're not just putting your parents or your loved one into a home. You're putting them into a community that they're going to enjoy living. They're going to make new friends. And from a support perspective, the whole management team, not only at a property level, such as Fleetwood Villa out in Surrey, but throughout any Revera property.
Now, Lydia, you mentioned that some people are moving in a little bit later. The information that we had shows that 97% of Revera residents have told you they wish they had moved in sooner. So
Absolutely.
why is this? Why do they wish they were in sooner, and why are some people waiting much longer to kind of move into this independent living?
Good question. And again, it's going back to one of those classic myths out there that retirement living, oh, that's a nursing home. I'm not going into there. They're going to lock me up, throw away the key. I won't be able to eat what I want, do what I want, see who I want, all that good and fun stuff that we hate about clinical wards and facilities, shall we say, with bars on the windows. We are not like that at all. We give you your own key to come and go as you please. And it's definitely a different lifestyle. It truly is giving back the senior their control of their lives and the independence that they've always wanted.
If you're just joining us on Boomer Life today, we're celebrating the lifestyle of retirement living with Revera Retirement Living. In studio with us from Revera is Lydia Miller, the Regional Director of Sales in BC, and Rob Gillis, the Executive Director at Revera's Fleetwood Villa. Now, Lydia and Rob, could you speak to the overall umbrella of safety and security that you would find at Revera? Or at the Fleetwood Villa?
Well, specifically at Fleetwood Villa, and this policy, I believe, runs throughout Revera, safety and security is paramount in every decision we make at the property. This would be from simple things such as ensuring that our properties are in immaculate shape, with no signs of any kind of wear and tear on our properties, to on a personal level, every meal at Fleetwood Villa, every lunch and every dinner, we more or less do a roll call, and we take attendance of who is at their table. And if for some reason someone's not feeling well and they don't attend a meal, we know about it. When we have residents leave the property for any reason, we just ask them to sign out so we know that they're away. And what this does, if there is anyone that's not well and they happen to be in their room, Lord willing, if they perhaps had a fall or they had any other concern, just not feeling well, we would know within a matter of hours that we need to go check on these people, and we need to make sure that they're okay, and that it gives a massive amount of peace of mind, not only to the residents, but to the families.
And that was another thing, too, in my not answering your question directly, that 97%, they all say they wished they had moved in sooner because they didn't realize how different it was. Like, providing their families with a peace of mind, knowing that they're in a safe environment, knowing that they're eating healthy again, knowing that they're getting socialization and meeting new friends and becoming more active, gaining weight, having rosier cheeks, and we've had some residents saying that, my daughter wants to come visit, but I told her I'm going out on an outing with the bus, and I just don't have time for her now.
Mom's too busy for you now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's great. And the 97% is a survey that we do of our residents every year, and it usually comes back around 96, 97, 98%, where they're all wishing they had done it sooner because they didn't know how fabulous it was.
Do you have any other examples like that for someone who maybe was struggling with the idea of moving into Revera or another independent care facility, and them coming in and just seeing that change? Like you've mentioned the rosy cheeks and stuff, but what sorts of other examples do you have from someone who's made that transition and it's been great for them?
Well, you probably have some examples too, Rob, but one recently when I was in Victoria, there was a gentleman that came in and he had seen his friends move in. and how they thrived. And he was coming out and joining us at the odd event. So he started to investigate it. He's 93 years old. He doesn't want to wait until something happens to him where he won't be able to enjoy all the advantages and amenities that his friends are enjoying now.
And the reason that's so critical is we're seeing now many times seniors are staying at home for so long until they do have a sentinel moment where they do have a major injury, and they're missing that whole section of their life. They're missing retirement living. They're going straight from living at home, where they may have be almost like shut-ins in their own home, straight into a complex care situation, which is more like a hospital than an independent living community.
Yeah, there are ladies that I've talked to, and they've inquired about retirement living, for example, at Crofton Manor in Carrisdale. And in asking them, well, you mentioned you were interested in retirement living. Oh, yes, but I'm not ready yet. Mm-hmm. Really? When will you be ready?
And that's just it, because you get used to the comforts of your own home and you think you're living the best life possible because now you are in charge, you're in control, you're in your home. And it might be hard to realize that, hey, you can still be in charge, but now you're living with other people who you can spend time with, and you don't have to be alone.
That's right. And then when the response I get 90% of the time of what ready looks like, it's when their health fails. And I have to speak up and say, well, by that time, it might be too late for you to join us. Mm-hmm. You might have care needs higher than what we can accommodate in some of my communities.
If you're looking for more information about Revera, you can visit the website, reveraliving.com. Now, Revera has a series of commercials that are running on TV. They're absolutely brilliant. They really capture the kind of statements that are being said every day when it comes to retirement living, some of the examples that both of you have given. We have one of the commercials, and we'd like to play that for you, so we'll get that queued up and play it right now.
Thank you.
I don't want to follow all the rules those places have.
2 more, 1 more, and done. Good job, everybody.
Oh, I'd feel like I was in solitary confinement.
Come on, Joyce. You don't want to miss the casino. Hi.
Frankly, I'm just not ready.
I should have done this years ago.
Get a taste of life at your local Revera retirement residence. Call 1-877-6-REVERA for a tour and complimentary meal.
And that's just it. It's exactly that. You don't know it. You think you won't maybe being able to make any friends. You'll lose your kitchen. It's what you mentioned, Lydia. They're going to lock me up and throw away the key. These are all misconceptions when really it's about being independent, being in a place where you're given options to go out and do activities.
Absolutely. And believe it or not, half the time, the people coming in to ask us about retirement living, what the options are the boomer children, the adult children, because Mom and Dad, they're still fighting it. It's like, no, I'm staying at home. What do you mean? I'm not ready for the home. Okay, well, the kids come in, they do the research, and half the time, the parents don't know they're looking. And that's got to be a little bit freaky for the kids. Yes. How do they present such a sensitive topic to the parents who they adore, who have raised them, who have been in charge all their lives, to all of a sudden have the tables turned, and now they have to look after them?
And maybe it's just having Mom and Dad come in for a tour of the community and kind of seeing how that works. Now, is that something that happens often?
There's nothing more rewarding than seeing the light bulb go off, where the children see, wow, this isn't what we expected. But it's even more rewarding when the parents come in and they see what they've been missing out on. So be it coming in for a tour and a meal, which happens on a daily basis at Fleetwood Villa.
And it's complimentary.
Absolutely. Or even coming in for a trial stay. So Mom and Dad might not be quite ready yet. They don't think they're ready yet. They come in, stay for a couple of weeks. They get into the routine of the entertainment, of the conversation, of the activities, of the trips.
The dining room service.
Absolutely.
Make new friends.
Absolutely.
Join a bridge club.
And that's just it, some of the activities we're saying, because you might have Mom and Dad who's older and hasn't really been doing things that are active, and maybe they're just not even thinking about, maybe I should go out for a walk or anything like that. So what are some of the activities that...
We have walking clubs too, and we have people with pets, so we're pet friendly, It's part of your family. If you've got Fluffy and you're not going to leave Fluffy at home or put him down, then of course bring Fluffy along.
Something that is so rewarding when we see our residents, we're told by the kids, well, Mom and Dad are recluses. They don't get out. They like sticking to themselves. and find them out in every single activity. They're out on the bus trips, and we say this to the children, and they don't believe us.
Yeah, and that's just it. It's, now you might feel like you're thinking about mom and dad all the time and you don't have time to phone them or give them the attention they need. And then suddenly it's mom and dad saying, we don't have time for you.
No, and there's a great social life. I mean, I can speak personally because we actually moved one of my ex-husband's uncles into one of my buildings, and he's loving it. He's absolutely loving it, isn't he?
Yes, Uncle Vic is having a wonderful time at Fleetwood Villa.
He dancing, and Bert, the dancer, yeah, Bert loves to dance. You'll see him, you'll pass by a window in the craft room or something, he'll look at you and he starts dancing to music, and there's no music.
Sounds fantastic. You're listening to Boomer Life on AM 650 with Simone Graywell. We're talking about the joys of retirement living with the experts from Revera Retirement Living. And if this is something you're thinking about, you might want to get mom and dad into Revera. Coming up, we're going to actually chat with Susan Borax, and we're going to talk about decluttering your home and being ready for such a move like this. It's Boomer Life on AM 650.